Ooh. Ooh. The Hawk Squawk. What's up, bro? Good to see you. Oi. You guys like this music? I like this shit a lot. Hello, hello. Hey, Anna's here. Brittany's here. Rachel Russell. Beautiful green names. Beautiful green names. Hannah's having a cousin night down in Alabama, huh? Just kidding. Howdy, howdy, Jennifer. Welcome. 21st birthday. Uh-oh. Are you gonna get schlizzerped? Beautiful singing voice, Joel. Where do you live? On the moon. Suck her punch with the big $10 right out the gate. Says, so glad I'm not late as fuck. As always, much love from very tipsy me. Lol, hope you had a good day. Thank you, Suck her punch. Thank you for the first dono of the night with the 10 buckaroonies. Appreciate that. Hope you're staying safe in tipsy land. Avoiding any toxic exes. JK. Text them up. Tell them they suck butt.
Listen.
Kyle, let's read rocks. Let's read rocks. Let's read rocks. Okay, guys, what do you guys think? I'm gonna 90s porn music. It always used to be called 70s porn music, but we moved on to the 90s porn music. That's how old I feel now. I'm okay with that. Javoris Walden, shout out to you. Welcome, welcome. I'm going to, so you guys might recall last time I did, you know, I went into my dashboard on YouTube, and it kind of like it did another stream, which was really weird. So I hope that doesn't happen here again. But I'm going to see if, you know, because I like basically logged in, logged out of my OBS, and I kind of want to see if that works now. Vashti says, Joel, did you get an AC unit for your place? Just curious. Well, I got a very quiet fan, which makes reading in here for long periods of time with the hot computer running infinitely better. So I do appreciate you guys for giving me ideas for what type of fan to get. That was very awesome. My AC that I have in here is like so loud. It's like ridiculous. Stitchin with the 2 says, love your videos, make more Ouija board stories. I will look into it for sure. Those are some of my favorite. And Angel Parish with the 1. Thank you, Angel. Saying hi from Maryland. Well, hello from Maryland. We stan quiet fans. Yeah, me too.
Hey, listen.
Richard, I'm glad I can help you out here. Okay, real quick, I'm gonna go to, I don't know why I have, I drank some coffee earlier. Not a good idea, especially late at night like this. It's about 9:30 for me. But I'm going to open up the YouTube dashboard to see if this works. But first, Sucker Punch with another 10 says, lol, I don't have any exes because I don't believe in relationships, but that's another conversation. Also, I'm home and safe. Hope you are too. Thank you. Thank you, Sucker Punch. Yeah, I'm live streaming from the library, so hopefully nobody here minds. And Letty Ramos with the 3 says, time for blankie mode. Sir, going blankie mode. Good, I'm glad you guys can get into blankie mode. That's what this time is for. Alright, we're gonna click on the YouTube live stream button. Pray to God that it works. And connecting. You know, it doesn't look like it connects, so Oh, that's really annoying because I don't know how to fix any of that shit. You know what I mean? I think it has to do with the stream key. But whatever. Don't matter none. I'll just close that out before it causes any confusion. I don't know if you guys will end up seeing 2 live streams going at one time. I hope not, because that would create some confusion. Yeah, I think before that even got started, I closed out of it, but I don't know. I honestly have no idea how to, like... I think it has to do with the stream key, if you guys are familiar with that. But OBS lets you sign into YouTube directly, so there shouldn't be a need for a stream key. But I'm just... As long as you guys are here and you can see the stream, I am happy about that. Maybe somebody can... I wish I could figure out a way to, like, tweet this out. See, then I go to, like, type something in the chat, and it says, sign in to chat, and it's like, almost... So I don't even know, dude. I'm, like, kind of at a loss for what to do, because I'm afraid if I click in sign in the chat, it will, like, log me out or some shit. What if I click it? This action cannot be performed inside Streamlabs OBS. To interact with chat, you can open this chat in a web browser. Okay. Oh, gaming.youtube. Oh. Interesting. So this chat's going in a whole nother web browser scenario over here. Well, hello, chat. I guess I do have a pop-out box for that, which is cool. Learning something new every time I do this, guys, but... Your Ginger Surf say hey. What's Ginger Surf? Copy the link and paste it to Twitter. Yeah, fuck, man. I gotta... How do I even know the... YouTube makes this, like, way too difficult, I feel like. It's, like, confusing as hell. Okay. Copy link address. Let me just tweet this out. I wish it was a lot simpler. Live streaming now. CRAIGSLIST stories. Fuck if I know if that's gonna work. Yeah, that seems like it should work, but if it gets more people... If it gets more people here, that would be dope. And if you guys could like and share the stream, that would also be sick, nasty bros. Nasty sicklies. But I welcome all 250 of y'all in this beast. Huh. How do I adjust the... There we go, there we go. Sorry, I probably sound like a noob streamer right now, right? It's almost like I should just stick to reading spooky stories. The Craigslist killers are from your hometown, Austin. That's terrifying, my friend. Spooky daddy in the house. The devil has my cat. That's funny you say that, and you're like, your cat is with me. We are now one. And I look back, and he's like licking his paw. He's become possessed. The all-encompassing evil. Why am I at the library? I'm just kidding about the library thing. Pretty much everything I say is like borderline trolling, non-stop sarcasm. Karen with the 10 bucks, and he says, I love you and your stories. Don't stop making these videos. Thank you so much. I wish you the best of the best. Thank you, Karen. Much love to you. You can speak to the manager of my heart. The astronaut ran out of air a long time ago. Save Pradeep. We must exercise Pradeep with some scritchy scratchies. Some holy scratchies. Austin, your mother left for Scientology. Ruh-roh. I wonder what's like convincing about Scientology, you know what I mean? Oh, this is a good song. I feel like I've heard this before. Did anybody else really like synthwave? The 90s porn music. I feel like 90s porn music. This is definitely not 90s porn music. This is, well, it might be. The synthwave, like the early 90s, late 80s, is, you know, well, the majority of the 80s. I would say mid 80s to like early 90s is where the synth kind of stuff really found its pace. Winter is the manager of Joel's heart. Did I study voice acting? Not at all, no. I watched a lot of cartoons growing up, though, and consumed a lot of entertainment. Just kind of went for it. I was in healthcare for quite a period of time. Big Daddy Becky. Will time to play? Will Joel say my full screen name this time? Stream part 4. I did it. We're on a roll. Yeah. Hope it's not too loud for you guys. I feel like we're at a good volume. I love synthwave shit though. Just brings me a... I feel like there's something about 80s style music that like no matter what kind of mood you're in, it can just like really affect you in a good way. Did I watch Hey Arnold? Oh yeah. A lot of Hey Arnold. Hey Arnold. In Scientology, they have a lot of no pants parties. This brings the numbers in. Fuck yeah, I'd go to that shit. Honestly, if you want to start a religion, like sex and drugs, that's really all it is. Sex, drugs, rock and roll. All in one big mishmash. You got yourself a modern cult. Now, we kind of do that on our own here, just from the comfort of our own home, so you don't have to worry about me, you know, requiring any sort of baptisms. Lila says, I got a new mic for my channel. I'm so happy. That's awesome, Lila. Congrats. I hope you'll have to let me know what kind it is, and I'll have to take a listen to some of your new stuff. Do I have any recommendations for synth music? Yeah, you know, The Midnight is an amazing band. I love them. They're a lot more like upbeat. There's also Com Truise, so it's like Tom Truise but spelled C-O-M-T-R-U-I-S-E, so like just flipping the letters there. And I love him because, I don't know, he just kind of takes you a whole varying groove of places, but there's a ton of them out there, you know, so many to name, it's tough to keep up with, and a lot of people like, different people like dabble in it lately. My roommate for a while had like some synth music that was pretty good, you know, and give you some tips for a beginning narrator. Well, you know, I just kind of learned things as I went along. I was fortunate to kind of find a mic that right now I'm using my streaming mic to talk to you guys, but it kind of matches the quality, which is great. But my recording mic is an H4n, but which is more of like a field recorder, which I think gives it that like ASMR vibe, you know what I mean? Which a lot of people seem to enjoy. And, you know, basically just kind of like I use Audacity to remove background noise, which is really helpful. That's why sometimes if I forget, you guys will hear me say like, okay, we're recording like 10 seconds of background noise to remove that later. And I think that like really can amplify a quality of a narration, you know, maybe even tenfold, you know, and I'm sure there's a bunch of other things that you can do as well, like balancing things. A lot of people tell me to use like Adobe Audition and things of that nature. I don't use that. I just use Sony Vegas primarily to just edit my stuff. And you know, Audacity is a free program with a lot of different tools, and you kind of grow from there. How old am I? I'm 30. When do I release the foot pics? When I get my demands. I'm holding these foot pics hostage, let me tell you. Binge watching Invader Zim lately. That sounds amazing. Can you be nice and talk me to sleep? 4:30 a.m. It's 4:30 a.m. where you're at. Uh-oh. Well, just follow my voice. We will get you there. Do I use 70s or 90s music? Hey, it's up to you. Whatever production you're going for. Audition is amazing. Yeah, you know, I would like to. I mean, I don't know if you guys have any suggestions for my channel, because, I mean, I'm not like, you know, the pinnacle. I know I'm not the pinnacle of like audio production quality, and but I've kind of just found my workflow that works for me, and works for the channel, works for the podcast. So, you know, if you guys have any suggestions, like, I think one thing that I could definitely do better is sort of balancing out different things, you know, hard S's, you know, the plosives, as they say, like P's and B's and things like that.
Hey, listen.
Oh yeah, did I miss a... Sorry, I think I missed a dono from Sydney. Thank you for the 2, Sydney. Thank you, thank you. I always thought it would be sick if you started like a synth band. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of the group. Oh, I'm spacing on their name right now. Let me think of it. Oh, Drab Majesty. If you ever heard of Drab Majesty, they're pretty cool. Like 80s, not like synth wave, but it's more of like a dark synth type vibe. You know, like sounds a lot like The Cure. If you guys like the Cure. Hey, Electro Shocker, welcome. We got a mod in the chat now. Thank you. But all of the singing is like this in this deep bravado. Maybe not bravado. I don't know. You know, the bravado in the quartet. But it's just like deep and emotional. And I think it has a bit of like sort of, you know, Kanye West 808s and heartbreaks type vibe to it. Oh, see, I'm always happy when I bring my backpack in to like lay on the floor, because Pradeep just like loves laying on that backpack. I notice that when you say things like an L at the end, you pronounce them as more of an O. So like when you say little, it sounds like little. Huh. Maybe it's like a weird... Because a lot of like, I don't know if you notice with like slapped ham, like whenever they have a vowel, like an A at the end of a word, and then a vowel at the beginning of another word or something, they like add like a bit of an R to it. So like he was saying Hurricane Katrina. I think he was saying like Hurricane Katrina is, or something like that, or something of that nature, and it was, they add like an R, so it's like Hurricane Katrina is, you know, and it like Hurricane Katrina and is, you know, it's like, it's part of their like natural flow of like their accent. So perhaps maybe I do that a bit, I'm not really sure. Oh gosh, guys, 20 seconds till we switch over to some hardcore spooky reading action. Does my cat sit there and stare at me? Oh, where'd he go? What the hell? Where did he go? What the fuck? Where is he? That's really weird. He was literally like right beside me. And now I'm like clueless as to where he got to. Usually it's like one of 2 spots. That's really strange. He like teleported. Has anyone seen my cat? 1 second. What the fuck? That's really odd. 3 seconds, guys. I apologize. That's like the weirdest shit ever. That's strange. He's sorry about that. Pissed as a fart right now. You guys stole him. Yeah, he was under the bed for some reason. And I shined a light under there, and then he's like wiggling around, and I'm like, what the fuck? Why is... Normally he goes under the bed when he's like scared of something, so I don't really I don't really know what the hell happened. Alec, welcome, my friend. You having a nice party? You better keep track of these mistakes and make up your drinking game now. Pradeep got into my stash of catnip, yes. He's having a good old flip out. Alright, friends. Well, guys, first off, thank you again for being here. Almost 400 people here to start the stream, which is bad ass. It's bad ass. Yeah, he didn't watch 90s porn. He's not familiar with it. Yeah, thank you again. Click the like button if you haven't already. Share this out on, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, wherever you feel so inclined on social media to help out the channel. That'd be awesome. And we're going to switch over to listen to some Iron Cthulhu Apocalypse. Iron Cthulhu has been putting out some like 10-hour long bangers lately, which is pretty crazy. It's like, that's a lot of content, my dudes. So if you guys like this is some chill wave mix from the channel. I really like this channel. It's called New Retro Wave. The song's called Distant Memories, a new retro chill mix. 1 hour retro wave, dream wave, chill wave. Got every keyword in there. It's amazing. Not much of a DJ here. I always try to like turn down the music slowly, and it's just like. But we'll be switching off of that. And hopefully you can feel the vibes, the terrifying vibes of Iron Cthulhu Apocalypse as we switch up the atmosphere and switch over to our reading screen. Once again, guys, thank you for sending your stories as always. If you hear yours here on tonight's Craigslist stories, be sure to let me know. Send them in to reddit.com/r/letsreadofficial. It's easy to make a Reddit account on there, and you can submit stories. Also, you can submit them where I get a lot of stories as well. Is it's easier for people to submit them to Let's Read Submissions at gmail.com, and that's all linked down below if you guys need to check that later. It's also linked in the channel description. Every video has that as well if you're just kind of looking for that vibe and where to look for where all that jazz is. And then also, to keep up to date with pretty much everything that I'm doing at all times, be sure to follow me at Twitter. Twitter's a lot easier for me to update. It's just simpler. It's at Let's Read Creepy on Twitter. You'll find me. Got the same profile picture and everything, or at least same vibe. And then at letsread.official on Instagram, where I, not uploading, I guess, as much on there, because it's a little bit like when you upload on Instagram, it's a little bit different where it's like, I don't know how you guys feel about this as creators and stuff, but it's a lot more like official on there. It's like not as like, just spam posting as you can do on like Twitter, you know what I mean? Like, oh, you got a stupid thought, just put it on Twitter, on Instagram, it's got to be like this official thing with a pretty picture and everything like that. But I guess you can do that on the story too or whatever. But anyways, I'm getting very meta talking about Instagram. Also, follow my meme page at Horny Computer. I don't know why. That's just been posting memes for me has just been kind of a cathartic experience because I don't know. I just enjoy making people laugh and people sending me funny shit to make me laugh. And then just, it's just been a community experience of just posting stupid shit online. So that's been fun. Follow that if you get bored, and send me shit so I have my story is just inundated with memers. Alex says, Joel, slurp time. Time to slurp, baby. And, oh my goodness, Worldview with the $20 says, you were amazing. Thank you, Worldview. Thank you. That's a nice one to start the reading with here. And as I said before, we got Craigslist stories tonight, 7 of them shits we're going to be bumping through. And if you're not familiar with how the stream usually works, we usually, first 20 minutes are kind of letting people roll in. And then you will get to hear my, the whole shebang on how I record stories and then interacting with chat and all that kind of stuff. So there will be times where I, stop to chat with you guys. So never fear. I will always return to the chat. But also just get comfortable. Crack open a case of Slurpee juice, whatever you're into, and go fucking blankie mode, baby. Let's do it. Memes are life, I know. They definitely give me life, for sure. A real funny one. I think memes have demonstrated to me that, like, you don't really need a lot of production value. You don't really need, some really well thought out plot, I suppose. It's nice to have, like, TV shows that are comedically oriented that have, like, plots and good writing and all that kind of shit. But, like, with memes, it's like it's like a free market of just ideas flowing constantly. Like, if it's good, if it's bad, it dies. If it's good, it goes viral and everyone gets it, and it doesn't cost you a single dime to just, like, gaze upon a meme that's usually, like, less than 7 seconds or whatever, and I don't know about you, but, like, there's been memes that I've seen that have, like, stuck with me way longer than, like, an episode of, I don't know, fucking King of the Hill or some shit. Not that King of the Hill is bad at all, because it's a very funny show, but just something about memes, it just speaks to our souls. Wanky and the blanky. Alex E with the 2 says E. E has arrived. He's fitting to get bonked. Alright, my friends, let's take a gander at story number 1 of Craigslist Stories.
Hey, listen.
It was May of last year, and I had just signed the lease on a new house. It turned out the refrigerator didn't come with the deal. I'd spent most of my money on the house, so I started looking for a cheap one at garage sales. I couldn't find any that way. Then, I remembered Craigslist. After just 10 minutes, one popped up, not far from me. I called the number, and a nice lady answered. She said the refrigerator was still for sale, but she couldn't guarantee it would still be there when I arrived. So, against my better judgment, I asked for her PayPal and sent her the $75. She sent me an email confirming she got the money, and we set a date for me to pick it up. That Saturday, I texted her, letting her know I was on my way. The house was a nice ranch-style place, probably built in the 80s. I knocked, and this hot brown-haired girl in very short cutoffs answered. After I picked my jaw from the ground, I asked her for Sunny. She said that was her and showed me inside. I had zero reason to be nervous. Like the outside, the house was nicely finished and smelled clean. We made small talk for a few minutes until this big dude, at least 6'5", covered in tattoos, appeared from the kitchen. She introduced me to him as John, her boyfriend, and she said he would take me to the refrigerator. She disappeared to the back of the house, and I never saw her again. John led me through the kitchen to the garage. He opened the door and pointed to the refrigerator. It was all the way across from me, almost sitting against the overhead door. I could barely see it because the garage itself was so dark. I asked him if there was a light, but he said it had broken and they hadn't had the chance to fix it. No big deal. He had to open the overhead door so I could move it out anyway. I asked him to raise it, but he said it was also broken. He apologized. I was just going to have to bring it through the house. This annoyed me, but I had no choice at that point. There was a little light shining in from the house. It was going to have to do. I took 2 steps, maybe 3, into the garage before I realized that there was plastic on the floor. I looked down and saw that it was... Oops. This already sounds like they're off to a bad start, gentlemen and ladies. Lady gentlemen. Gentle ladies. I took 2 steps, maybe 3, into the garage. Fuck. Me throat. Have you guys ever bought anything off of Craigslist? And how was your experience? I took 2 steps, maybe 3, into the garage before I realized that there was plastic on the floor. I looked down and saw that it covered the entire floor. This was when I began getting nervous. I couldn't think of any reason why it would be there except I stopped in my tracks. John's shadow began drawing closer. Then, off in the corner to my left, I heard a shuffling noise. Everything inside of me said to leave. Suddenly, I turned around and walked quickly back to open the door. I was surprised to see how close John was actually to me, but I kept going. I weaved around him and said, I forgot my dolly in the truck. I'll be right back." There was a dolly leaning against the wall not far away. He pointed to it and began to say something, but I didn't stop. When I was sure he wasn't behind me anymore, I ran the rest of the way, out the door, all the way to my truck. I hopped in it and tore out of there. I don't know what happened after that. I got a few texts from Dawn, but I erased them without reading them. When I got home, I logged on to Craigslist to report them. I was shocked to see that the listing was already gone. I looked around for another 30 minutes to make sure. They must have erased it right away. I also called the police and made a report. They seemed a little dubious of my claim, but promised to check it out. I never heard from them again, and I don't much care. I'm alive, and that's good enough for me. As for the $75, there was no way I was going to ask for it back. It wasn't worth getting involved with those freaks again. I haven't gone on the site since then. The whole system strikes me as risky these days. Anyway, I got lucky a week later. There was a garage sale in my neighborhood that had a used refrigerator. It was $100, but a lot nicer than the one, and it serves its purpose just fine. As I wrap this up, I don't want to give people the wrong idea. I don't think Craigslist is dangerous for you. Oops. Dirt from belly button. Oh, Alex has got to wake up friggin' early. Alright, Alex, get some sleepies. Go blanky mode, dude. I don't think Craigslist is dangerous for you to use. Thousands of folks get stuff off of there every day with no trouble. But after what happened to me, I just don't think it's worth the risk. However, if you do find something on the site, you just have to be careful. Bring a friend when you go to get it. If you can, meet in a public place during the day. Most importantly, though, use your head. If the situation seems sketchy, bail. It may mean the difference between life and death. I should do Airbnb stories. I think the whole concept of Airbnb is weird. Well, the ones where you stay in someone's occupied home. Yeah, I did actually do Airbnb stories a while back. I do believe that still exists on there, but you have to check. I think it was only like 3 stories, though. Isn't there a feature on PayPal where you can get your money back? I forgot what it's called, but I'm pretty sure it exists. Yeah, I think they have that, yeah, like related to eBay and things of that nature. Maybe that guy just said fuck it, didn't even want to like deal with them. I guess I would get pretty sketched out, though I'm not really sure how that would have turned out for them, but definitely be better to be on the wary side. Oh, there's Pradeep now. I don't know why I hid OnlyFans stories. Yeah, I did have one, I think, recently for... I forget what those stories... You guys probably remember, but the chick was on OnlyFans. Pradeep's cute. It's so funny. Every time I stream, you can just... That's like when he wants attention. Oh, you're talking to somebody else besides me? Time to interrupt. Oh, we're almost at 100 people. Or not 100, 500. Sheesh. Craigslist is only dangerous when you're trying to hook up with strangers. Yeah, that would be a place that I would highly suggest avoiding for that kind of content. Chatterbait horror stories, oh god. Do OnlyFans topless. That's just the name of the story. OnlyFans topless stories. Just do a whole stream of me talking to Pradeep. Booby Smith, thank you. Thank you. We are now moving on to story number 2. Blankie mode engaged. I think this still scares me so much because it involved my daughter. It's the summer of 2016 and we just purchased a new house. The washer and dryer included with it were brand new. We already had a set, albeit much older. We saw a chance to make a little money and listed them on Craigslist. I hadn't even been aware of the place before my son suggested it. It was surprising to me how fast the call started. We expected it would take the weekend at least before we had a buyer. Several people wanted to pick it up the following morning. Unfortunately, our family was traveling to a reunion and wouldn't be around to let them in. Every caller was told whoever arrived first Monday morning would be the lucky buyer. The terms were set and we headed out the following morning. That night we received a panic call from our daughter. She had stayed behind because of illness. Something truly scary and extraordinary had happened just hours before. She said she was laying in bed, watching TV and heard a loud crash. Then, voices echoed from the living room. Not sure what to do, she stayed still and listened. When she was certain it wasn't us, she grabbed her phone and hid in the closet. The voices of 2 men drew closer and stopped outside her door. They were talking about looking for something. She feared that they were there to kidnap her. The dispatcher kept her calm and they made small talk until the cops arrived. A ruckus could be heard coming from the living room along with some yelling. Then, everything went silent. The dispatcher stopped talking for a moment. Seconds passed, then it was all over. The dispatcher spoke up and told her she could come out. She emerged and introduced herself just as the last thief was being let out. It took a week or 2 to get the full story. The interrogations uncovered their reason for the break-in. The pair had intended on buying the washer and dryer, at least at first. When I mentioned we'd be out of town, they decided to just break in and take them. Both swore they never knew my daughter was there. I thank my maker they didn't. No telling what could have happened. After first making sure our girl was okay, we returned home that night. I remember shaking like a leaf the whole drive back. I jumped from the car before my husband could park it. The second I saw her, I gave her a big hug and didn't let go for a long time. My husband and I spoke to the police the following morning. They assured us because of their previous convictions the burglars would do prison time. They were still inside the last time I heard and wouldn't be released before 2025. However, with all the cons getting out because of sorry. However, with all the cons getting out because of the lockdown, I fear they may be among them.
Hey, listen.
Although our daughter seems to have left it in the past, the long-term effects... Sorry. Tripping up on me words there, I forgot to tie my teeth together. Steve Harrington with the 10 says, cheers from Papa Monk. I'm not on Craigslist, gotta look for me elsewhere. I'll find you, Steve. Just kidding. Thank you for the 10, I appreciate that. Hey guys, we'll be going out of town, here's our address. Yeah, that is a bit, I don't know. I guess you build up a rapport and you say, like, when you'll be back or whatever. But also, I was thinking, like, it would be easy to narrow down who the people were if you were corresponding or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, if someone did rob you, I feel like... And if they specifically took the washer dryer or whatever it is they were selling, you would imagine that the authorities would be able to, like, narrow that down pretty quick. Speaking moistly. Booby Smith, yeah, I still do Stalker Stories, so yeah, please do send that in. Would love to. I think we're on, like, Stalker Story volume... The next one will be volume 10, I think, so... I need to, like, make a full-on playlist for that at this point. If I did do that, would you guys just want like the 9 volumes of Stalker stories in there, or would, because some of my like some of the Reddit, like just basic Reddit ones, like have the title, like the first story is about stalkers, so I don't know if that would be a decent thing to include like in the playlist as well, you know what I mean? Although our daughter seems to have left it in the past, the long-term effects still aren't clear. If they are released early, I hope any hidden trauma doesn't rear its head and set her recovery back. As for the washer and dryer, a nice young couple picked it up that Monday morning. We happened to run into them a few months ago, and they said both units were still working well. I mentioned to them what happened that weekend, and they were shocked, but still able to find the funny side. I'm glad things went well, and we were both able to laugh about it now. Every day we hear of families that weren't so lucky, and I'm thankful to not be among them. Facebook Marketplace stories. Yeah, I actually only used Facebook Marketplace once. It was pretty cool. Actually, it seemed like way easier than the Craigslist thing, but I thought it was neat in the fact that like I sold like an old graphics card on there or whatever, and it was pretty simple. It was actually some girl had bought it, but then it was funny because then when I went out to meet the person, she sent her boyfriend to go get it, so I was like, okay, that makes sense. EJ, there's a new sheriff in town. Ruh-roh. Self-dictated moderator EJ. He's rising up. Am I Johnny Depp? That's a good question. Jensen, what's up, big boy? You got some Facebook Marketplace horror stories? Repster Inc. says you guys should sub to JCS Criminal Psychology. That actually looks like a really interesting channel. I can't say that I've actually sit down to watch that watch them before, but their channel seems to be doing really well, and the content looks very extensive as far as how they break it down. What graphics card? How do I... Is it DX diag? Yeah, run command DX diag. And once that pops up here, display. Oh, it's actually loading the information. So I have a GeForce GTX 1080 Ti. RAM is... Oh, I guess the GTX is, it's like 11 gigs of RAM for that one. It's a pretty solid computer. The motherboard and shit is like from 2013, so that's kind of old. I would like to just, do like a really badass upgrade at some point, but at the same time, like, since all I really play is like Overwatch, I just kind of, and then streaming on here isn't like as intensive as like other streamers where they have like a streaming computer and a gaming computer. But you were just watching Mr. Nightmare's Chuck E. Cheese stories. Nice. I remember that's like one of his ones that like almost got him in trouble with actually Chuck E. Cheese itself. Like, I don't know if you guys remember that, but I thought he like almost had to have his video taken down because of like requests from Chuck E. Cheese itself, which was really weird. But then I think he like, I don't know if you want to say like fought back about it or whatever, but I'm not exactly sure how that transpired, but he was able to keep it up. Craigslist looking for strangers to babysit. Yeah, what's that like one thing on Craigslist for is like missed opportunities? Or missed connections or some weird shit, and it says like, if you were the girl at the grocery store who was, checking me out and at the register, and do you remember when we locked eyes? When you asked me for my shopper card? That was a special moment. And I know you felt it too. Just like creepy shit like that. Like as if though that person at the register or wherever you like locked eyes with them is just, missed connections is like supposed to have like not only felt that misconnection, but then also know to like, oh, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to Craigslist and specifically go to this one board that's going to have it on there. I don't know. It's just like so corny, and I have no idea. It just seems like the most delusional thing ever. You, Tomorrow says, I used to go and read those to see what the fuck people were saying on there. Hilarious and creepy. Yeah. Jensen, you were on Misconnections once? Nice. You missed your connecting flight. You were checking me out, the self-checkout. Yeah, the machine. Oh my god. You were the computer that checked me out. Please enter your shopper's card now. Press continue. Please scan your chip now in your skin and your retina scan. Chuck E. Cheese is for pussy. What the fuck? That's funny. Alright. Let's Yes, Jensen, when did you? He says, all I'm gonna say is that the girl was not a girl and more of a 35-year-old guy. Ooh. Sounds like a perfect night for Jensen. Airport stalker stories. We do have some public transport, like airport type stories coming up, which I'm excited about. Been compiling some of those. Partly Pets, thank you. I'm glad I can entertain you throughout all your day's activities. Insert your chip into my interface. Oh god. All this happened because I saw a YouTube video about a shelf unit stereo. I've been looking one. All this happened because I saw a YouTube video about a shelf unit stereo. I've been looking for one for some time. The addition of a decent turntable sold me. My first stop was Amazon. Unfortunately, they wanted more than I could afford, so I hopped on eBay. I came across a few there, but all the sellers' feedback ratings were lower than I liked. At first, I thought I was SOL. Then I remembered Craigslist. Within 10 minutes, I'd found my stereo. I contacted the seller, and we agreed to meet at Walmart at around 8 p.m. I grabbed the cash and left about 7:30. Our arrangement was to meet close to the building. I drove around the lot for a good 15 minutes before I gave up. I just figured I'd been trolled. However, as I headed toward the exit by the highway, I saw two men waving their arms. It had to be the sellers, so I pulled over and parked. I asked why they had parked so far from the store. One guy claimed that there were no parking spaces when they arrived. From what I could see, there were plenty. I let it go, though. There was no point in angering them. Maybe they were just stupid. There's plenty of folks like that. Sorry. Dip your chip. There's plenty of folks like that around here. The taller of the two made small talk for a few minutes. I didn't want to be rude, so I humored him. The moment he stopped speaking, I tried to get the sale in motion. While we were talking, I hadn't noticed that the other guy had snuck up behind me. When I pulled the cash from my pocket, I got a hard nudge in my back. This caused me to jerk upright. When I looked at the tall guy, he had a pistol pointed at me. My instinct was to yell for help, but the two guns suggested against it. It was obviously a robbery. The tall guy didn't have to ask. I handed him the cash. Sorry, that was weird. David Lynch, severed ear. Why are you angry? It was obviously a robbery. The tall guy didn't have to ask. I handed the cash to him and he kindly said thank you. And I hope that was the end of it. They'd drive away and I'd be left scarred and feeling stupid. Scared, sorry. They'd drive away and I'd be left scared and feeling stupid. But I was wrong. The tall guy demanded I give up my phone. That was going to hurt more than the money. It was a brand new iPhone. I reluctantly pulled it from my pocket and took one last look. This entire time, the other guy... Jeez, I'm really flooping up here. The entire time, the other guy didn't say a word. Now they had what they wanted. The two men got in the car and drove away, leaving me shaking in fear and feeling like a fool. I'd convinced myself I'd taken the proper measures to prevent stuff from going wrong, but the moment they changed the plan, I went ahead anyway, despite any misgivings I had. Now I was minus $100 in cash and a $400 phone. Without a phone, I had to walk the 200 yards to the store to call the cops. The employees tried to be sympathetic, but I'm sure they thought I was stupid too. The police arrived soon and took my statement. I respect them for being honest with me. We all knew the guys probably wouldn't be caught, and they haven't been. Almost 4 years on, and I have yet to hear of an arrest. I suppose I should be grateful it didn't cost me more. Had my assailants been of the mind to, I could have paid the ultimate price. Nate Dogg's keeping the devil at bay, thank you. Yeah, that would suck. You have to be careful with that shit. I remember reading a Craigslist story years ago. I think it was from Reddit or something like that. But it was just about the guy was selling a PS3, and it was just right outside of his house, and he literally brought the PS3 to the front of his house, and the people, or no, he was buying a PS3, and it was going to be for his kids, like, Christmas gift, you know what I mean? Like, $200, PS3, it was years ago, and the guys just, like, shot, like, as soon as he handed the money, they just shot him, killed him, and fucking drove away. It's just, like, so weird. It's like, I don't know, I just feel like if you're gonna rob somebody like that, you know what I mean, like, it's a shitty thing to do, but there's no reason, I feel like, to kill anybody over fucking $200, you know what I mean, or at all, obviously. But it's just, like, such a sad thing, because, like, the guy was doing this for his kids, and now he was dead because of, like, his own generosity and somebody else's, like, complete sociopathic behavior. Wait, they're putting Halloween decor in Walmart and Target already? Holy shit. Yeah, some people are just empty. It's scary. It's fucked. I forget which video it was in. It was quite a time ago. Yeah, Fry remembers that story. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's just, drugs, man. Drugs will just drive people fucking nuts. They'll just turn every logical sense of their brain off. I'm not saying every drug, but, like, some of the drugs that you guys are probably aware of will just, to make things happen, like, just drive people to murder. Oh, Pradeep is doing a leg rubbing. Such a soft cat. I was looking at Maine Coons. Do you ever see the Maine Coon cat? Because I saw it on Reddit. And dude, those cats are freaking huge, but they actually look really, really nice. I think it'd be sweet to have a Maine Coon. It's like a mix between a tiger and a baby. There's literally a $400 iPhone out right now. Yeah, it was weird because I remember forever, like, the way that I would do iPhone stuff or whatever, or just phones in general, was, you would have it for 2 years, the sort of planned obsolescence of, like, making your phone shitty over time, or, like, because I remember, like, I had an iPhone 6, or whatever, and, like, the battery life on it was badass, it was, I could literally have it not charge for, like, 2 days and it was still good to go, and I don't even think I had it on low battery mode or whatever. And then randomly I did an update on it, and then, like, that day I just, like, constantly now have to have it charged, have it on, like, low battery mode or whatever. And then it was around that time that like, iPhones suddenly went up to, it was like around the iPhone 8 or something when that happened. And then do you remember the iPhone 8 was, like, wasn't that like $800 or some shit? And then now the iPhone 10 or X or whatever the fuck it is, like, is like $1,000. I don't even know. It's just insane. Sugar Mill says, I wish I could have a Maine Coon. I already have 2 cats. When I finally move in with my fiance, I won't be able to have a cat because he's allergic to cats. Oh, that sucks. Hope you can find a good home for your kitties. Troy, you were watching an old live stream and stumbled across this. Well, welcome to a new live stream. Repster, you still use the iPhone 6s? Yeah, I mean it still works fine, but like you can tell, like I just don't understand. Like I just hate the whole idea of planned obsolescence. Like that just pisses me off. And I think that there was like a lawsuit or something, like a class action suit against like Apple related to that sort of massive downgrade on the battery life at some point. And then the way that they made up for it as part of the lawsuit, I'm not sure. Like they made it so that people could buy new batteries for their iPhone 6 and have them installed for like $100 some. And I'm like, so you're telling me as part of a lawsuit they get to make profit? You know what I mean? Which I believe they did make a pretty big profit with like people buying new batteries. So it's like you created the issue with the update, but then you get in trouble for it, but then you made money off it. It was just like, I don't know. It's just like people, I don't even know. Fry, you prefer the stolen iPhone 11? Yeah. Fry's getting them all on Craigslist. Oh, Mega Rocketeer, I'm so sorry to hear that. That's crazy. Alright, use Samsung. Yeah, I know. I'm about to make the transition to Droid because just, I don't know. But yeah, once again, it's just like the familiarity of like iPhone, interface and that kind of thing. And I was kind of curious, like if I were to get say a new iPhone tomorrow, just hypothetically, like is it like a long process to transfer all of your information and all that shit over to your new phone, or is it like a same day scenario, like quick and easy? Because that's what I'm worried about, is that it's gonna like throw off my like sort of workflow with, because I use a lot of my phone shit for YouTube and whatever. Okay, well, we will move on to story number 4, and we are at 600 folks here, guys. Thanks again. Click like button. Click like button if you haven't already. That would be sick. Share a picture of your Maine Coon on Discord. That'd be sweet. We have an area for pets. I love seeing everybody's pets. They're gorgeous, gorgeous. Alexa Aguilar with a 5 says, fell asleep during one of your videos and heard the video while dreaming. It was cool. That's awesome. I do enjoy that. I had some creepy dream earlier about like fucking spiders or some shit. I don't know why. Like, I feel like I have spiders just freak the shit out of me. Jenna, your cat adores me. I'm glad. I just got a new phone. It is literally a whole day process. Yeah, it sounds like a weekend adventure or something like that. This may sound strange to some people, but I collect movies on VHS. My collection is currently over 1,000 and growing daily. I spend my weekends searching through thrift shops and online Let me read that over again, sorry.
Listen.
I spend my weekends searching through thrift shops and online sellers for interesting and hard-to-find cassettes. Sometimes I'll purchase lots or boxes of lots of tapes. Sometimes I'll purchase boxes of tapes. These often include home recordings of forgotten television shows and family memories deemed no longer important. A time was I loved. A time was? I'm confused about this grammar. A time was I loved nothing more than to cuddle up and watch them with my girlfriend. A time was. I'm confused what they tried to say there. A time was. Or maybe there was a time. Yeah, I'll say that there was a time. There was a time I loved nothing more than to cuddle up and watch them with my girlfriend. Although most turn out to be boring, I occasionally stumble across something very special. A couple of years ago, I was browsing through Craigslist and came across a box of cassettes. It was taking up space and they wanted it gone. Free to the first person to show up. So I pounced on the deal. An hour later, I was parked in front of my TV with a big box of tapes. The haul totaled 44. Many were blank or home recordings lacking labels. Oh well, I always love a mystery. I had a few hours before work and watched a tape or two on fast forward. The first had an episode of the original Battlestar Galactica and the other was blank. Once I was done, I pushed the box into the closet and left for work. It would stay there for another 9 months, untouched and forgotten. In the meantime, I bought countless more tapes and my collection began to take over my spare bedroom. I built a massive shelf to store it all and inventoried each tape as I shelved them. This is how I remembered the box in my closet. When I realized I hadn't finished watching each tape, I set aside an evening with my girlfriend to do so. I remember that night like it was yesterday. My girlfriend, Brittany, arrived just after 7 p.m. We made dinner together and had Butterfinger ice cream for dessert. At about 9, we crawled up together. The fuck? We crawled on each other. Steve Harrington with the 5 says, sorry for the last comment, I ain't drunk, just drinking bleh. Oh, that's alright, I don't even know what was said, so no worries, my friend, no worries. Off to horny jail with ya. Bonk-a-bonk. At about 9, we curled up together and started the first tape. The next few hours, we saw a recording of NBC Primetime from 1987, 3 movies from HBO, and a wedding from 1991. Brittany especially loved that one. The fourth tape was also a wedding. I watched as much as I could before opting on a pee break and having a smoke. When I stepped away, she was fully engrossed in the ceremony. After I hit the head, I slipped out on the porch for a cigarette. That only took 5 minutes max. Before I returned to the bedroom, I grabbed a refill of water. I was in the process of doing this when I heard Brittany scream my name. I ran into the room as fast as possible. She had her hands over her mouth and her eyes were the size of saucers. Her gaze seemed to be fixed on the TV. What? I said. I leaned over the TV but saw nothing but a blue screen. I asked her again. She remained speechless but pressed rewind on the VCR. A few seconds later, she pressed play and patted on the spot next to her. I assumed this meant sit down, so I did. The tape began as the happy couple prepared to cut the cake. I got annoyed and asked, "What's going on with you?" "Just wait a second, it's coming." The words were so sudden I jumped. So I kept watching, waiting for some mystery thing to occur. The couple were feeding one another cake and the recording cut out. Static, blurred at... Oops. Luke the Nukel, how do I get a girl? What do you guys think? My advice would be to just focus on yourself. And the girls will come. The static blared at us for a moment before a new recording began. Now... sorry. Just the pacing of this is confusing the fuck out of me, sorry. Now... I'm like clicking the wrong buttons. Now, a man was staring at us. He looked to be starting a video camera. When he moved away from the camera, you could see a nude woman laying on a bed. The guy hopped on the bed, and they began doing it. "All right, baby," I said in a joking way. Brittany snapped and told me to shut up. By this point, I was completely dumbfounded. I almost felt embarrassed watching it. I'd never thought of myself as the sort of voyeuristic type. The couple continued coupling, and the woman whispered, "Choke me." He did, and it began to peak. I'm thinking, kinky, to myself. Not my thing, but to each to his own. Is coupling the word I'm looking for? Coupling? One second.
Coupling.
Coupling. Alright, coupling, yeah. The couple continued coupling, and the woman whispered, "Choke me." He did, and It began to peak. I'm thinking, kinky, to myself. Not my thing, but to each his own. The man continues to choke the woman. She began gasping for air, but he didn't stop. Even when she grabbed his arms, he kept going. He completed the act and let go of her throat. The couple laid quietly together for a few moments and said nothing. Suddenly, the man turns toward the woman. He stares for a few seconds, then realizes, fuck. Man, why am I messing up so much? Queen with a 10. Buckaroo says, I love to hear your voice while curled up with popcorn. In blanky mode. Thank you, Queen. Thank you for the 10. I'm glad. Hope you enjoy the popcorn. That sounds amazing right now. And Real Baby Yoda with the 2.
Listen.
The truest Baby Yoda. Oh, are we at 66 people right now? 666 peepees. Hold on, my cat wants out. Let me let him out real quick. Right quick. Uno momento. That'd be funny if he just like started using my leg as a scratching post. That was like how he got my attention. Oh, you tried the Dr. Pepper cream soda. It's friggin' amazing. Nice. That's awesome. Hey, there's Hannah. Hi, Hannah. Yeah, well, I think it was like a play on the a play on words. Like the couple was coupling, you know. But I can also check to see if like there's some sort of sexual or intimate definition to the word as where. Combine a sense of hope is coupled with a palpable sense of loss. Connect. Yeah, maybe they're just like, oh yeah, the action of mating or having sexual intercourse, coupling. Yeah, I guess that's one of the definitions on dictionary.com. Winky winky. But yeah, copulating would work, I guess, as well. Whatever. Okay. The couple laid quietly together for a few moments and said nothing. Suddenly, the man turns toward the woman. He stares for a few seconds, then raises his eyebrows and starts shaking her. The dude's yelling her name and occasionally slapping her cheeks, but she's not moving. This is when I started to catch on. The man then stands up, now holding his partner by the shoulders and shaking her. Still no movement. This is when he started to catch on. He eventually stops and just stares into her empty eyes. No way, man. I'm beginning to freak out now. No way, dude. Brittany is silent. The man sat down on the edge of the bed, his head buried in his hands. A low sobbing can be heard. This goes on for a few moments before he remembers the camera. In one long motion, he reaches out and slams his hand down on it. The blaring of the static returned, and I sat struck dumb. The hissing continued until Brittany finally pressed stop. Dude, it was the only word I could get out. I'd never seen anything like that before. Brittany turned toward me and asked what we should do. I honestly had no idea. I still couldn't believe it was real. Maybe it wasn't. Let me have a smoke and I'll consider our options. I retreated outside to think. When I returned, I proposed the idea that it may have been fake. I don't want to go to the cops until I'm sure it's real. No way do I want to become the butt of some troll's joke. Okay. If she had any misgivings, she kept them to herself. She may have still been in shock. I know I was. Our evening was clearly over. I suggested she stay the night, but she declined. No big deal. I'd have a hard time getting any sleep until I knew the truth. My first goal was to contact the tape's previous owner. I knew for sure the man in the tape wasn't the dude I got from the box. Sorry. I knew for sure the man in the tape wasn't the dude I got the box from. There was a good chance he may know his identity, though. My emails went unanswered. I tried to contact him by phone, but his number no longer worked. I finally went by his place and discovered that he had completely moved. Without a way to contact him, my options had run out. Off to the police it would be. The cops said that they would watch the video and contact me if they had any additional questions. It was out of my hands now. In the weeks during my search, I'd seen very little of Brittany. She'd always had some excuse. I figured it was only a matter of time before she ended things completely. Another week would pass before she'd call. I can't do this anymore. I haven't slept for weeks. All I can see is that dead woman. Wait, why does it have that many eyes? What the fuck? Sorry. There was no sense in arguing. Oh. I don't know why. It's like, it has like as if though there's dialogue, but then it's like in the expositional aspects, it's like, there was no sense in her. I don't know. It's confusing. I wished her a good life. Okay. I can't do this anymore. I haven't slept for weeks. All I can see is that dead woman. There was no use or sense in arguing with her. I wished her a good life and hung up. It would have been heartless to expect her to just let something like this go. God knows I'd had my fair share of bad dreams over the past month. Things like that tend to affect women a lot harder than us. If her feelings change in the future, I'm not hard to find. Hundreds of cassettes have passed through my hands since then. With room now becoming scarce, I've taken to selling blank tapes and extra copies of films. With Brittany no longer in the picture, I admit curling up in bed and watching the tapes has lost a bit of its luster. Most of my viewing takes place in the living room now. To this day, every time I put an unlabeled tape in the player, I get a little tinge of fear. Will I see someone die? I've had a lot of time to think it over. When you collect something that captures a moment of time, a sliver of someone's life, you never know what terrible secret you may uncover. How long can someone actually live without sleeping? Yeah, the Russian sleep experiment. Let's look it up. How long can someone live without sleeping? The longest recorded time without sleep is approximately 264 hours, or just over 11 consecutive days, although it's unclear exactly how long humans can survive without sleep. It isn't long before the effects of sleep deprivation start to show. After only 3 or 4 nights without sleep, you can start to hallucinate. Yeah. How much? 11 days. Jesus. Huh. 11 days is a long ass. How could you? I would just like pass out. I don't know what the person would do. You think they'd have like a heart attack if they were taking like stimulants and shit like that? What the fuck was someone doing for 11 days? Probably playing World of Warcraft. Probably playing World of Warcraft. Level 50. Night Hunter. Alright, so we're moving on to story numero 50. Okay. Moving on. You can't make it to 11 minutes without sleeping. Yeah. Hey, we're almost at 700 people here. Even with the issues that I'm having with like trying to get the YouTube studio thing to work, I'm glad we can at least still get a good amount of people in here. I mean, or at least it appears that it's continuing to move in that direction, because I think the most we had was 14K people? Or not 14K, Jesus Christ. 1.4K, so 1,400 people, which was pretty sick. Have I ever played WoW? I have. Whenever they re-released Vanilla WoW this, I guess, was it spring or early summer or some shit? Or I don't know how. Maybe it was a year ago. I don't fucking remember. I can't even keep track of time. I don't even know a year from... That's embarrassing, kind of. Jesus Christ. Anyways, when they re-released Vanilla WoW, I played a hunter and got to like level 10 because they told me that that's when I could start like collecting pets, because I said basically I wanted to play Pokemon but with like more of interactive pets, and like, oh, you're gonna want to play hunter because you can catch animals and shit. And I don't know, like World of Warcraft, and I know people say that, like, especially on vanilla, it's like you got to get to level 60, you got to get to level 60 to like start experiencing like the end game raids and all that bullshit. But like, holy fuck, the gameplay, it was just August was the release of Classic. Oh, okay, so that was last summer. Holy shit, it's been a year. What the fuck is wrong with my brain? But yeah, it was just really boring. Like, you would, I don't know, you would read some text and it would kind of like, it would almost like make you figure out where you were supposed to go, you know, on your own. Like, make a right at, you know, Tillman's Crest. Am I reading these? I am reading these stories, yeah, but I'm just talking about WoW right now. And play Animal Crossing. No, I also like Animal Crossing. Like, I don't know, games that like, after playing Overwatch, where Overwatch like requires, and shooters and stuff, like first person shooters, they require a lot of like attention, I suppose, and it's like a lot of stimulus, which then I think gives you a lot of like feedback, like dopamine feedback and stuff like that. I know this is kind of like overthinking it, but I think I've just like conditioned my brain to sort of, I think I've just conditioned my brain to just really enjoy like very hyperactive, interactive games with such like constant moving feedback, if that makes sense. So like, even though I was looking forward to playing World of Warcraft just for something to chill with and just kind of like, you know, be just kind of chat with friends and do mindless tasks or whatever. Like, it was almost like too mindless, you know what I mean? And I just could not get into it. And though I do understand why people do, because I've had some friends like way back in the day, you know, that they had a year, like an entire year of their life in hours spent in World of Warcraft. Like, it was crazy to me how much time they just every day of their life, like every time you walk into their room, like their World of Warcraft like login screen would be up because they're, you know, they let their game like sit idle and then it like logged them out or some shit like that. Andrea Z, what is the well, thank you. It says, literally, I love your content. I can't imagine going to sleep without one of your videos in the back. Oh, awesome. Thank you, Andrea. I'm curious what the RON currency. Romanian. Okay, so the Romanian leu. Interesting. Thank you for the 25 Romanian leus. Hope I'm saying that right. It's cool always to see like where everybody's from. Played Doom. Yeah, I did actually play through Doom. I played through the first Doom, and then I didn't beat Doom Eternal, but I definitely played a lot of it. How and why have any of you stayed awake longer than 24 hours? I remember I actually used to, whenever I worked night shift, I pretty consistently stayed awake for 24 hours pretty often, because there would be days where, I don't know, you would wake up at like 2, like just based on the fact that your sleep schedule was kind of fucked, you would maybe wake up at like 2 p.m. or some shit, have to work that night, you know, and then just the fact that you're working and doing stuff, and it would, you know, the job would take you till the morning, you know, till you got off working night shift, and then because it's like light out, you were like do it, and then you're on to the next thing, and even though you were tired, you're like not really thinking about it, and then all of a sudden, oh, it's 2 p.m. again, you know, from the last time you woke up, and then you just keep going. And that was one of the worst parts about working night shift, was like whenever I would get days off, so I would get off at like say 7 a.m. and then be home and kind of dilly-dally, but I knew that I had to like hurry up and sleep, because if I wanted to accomplish anything that day, I'd end up, you know, if I didn't get enough sleep, like at least 5 hours, I would be screwed. And it was really annoying, because like for fucking like a long ass time, it was so hard to just like convince other people, like, I work night shift, dude. Like, I just went to bed at 8 a.m., maybe even later, and you're fucking knocking on my door to do something at like, say I would go to bed at like noon or whatever. Like they'd be knocking on my door at like 3 p.m. So imagine if you went to bed at midnight and somebody like was trying to chill at 3 a.m. or something. You would just be like, why the fuck are you bothering me right now? And it was as if though, like in their mind, they thought you were just being like lazy and sleeping in, and you like couldn't convince them otherwise. It was like, no, I exist as a goddamn vampire. Don't you understand? Dark Somnium, what's up, my dude? How art thou? Guys, if you have not subscribed to Dark Somnium, please do so. He is an amazing narrator, very, very nice guy, and also a very talented musician as well. He has a bunch of really, really sick-ass music on his other channel, the Dark Somnium music. And Pink Bubble, we got 2 verified gamers, verified YouTube creators in here. We got Dark Somnium and Pink Bunny. Pink Bunny says, hello, hey, fostering tons of kittens, 8 kittens. I'm so sleep deprived. Oh my god, yeah, that sounds, it sounds amazing if you just like let them crawl all over you or whatever, but also it sounds like a lot of responsibility. Meowch, meow, meow, I'm a kitty cat. Thanks, dude. Thank you, Dark Somnium. Hope you're doing well too. Do you have any good creepy pastas that we can look forward to? Alicia, this is Craigslist stories. I'm just sometimes I ramble for a while, like while recording them. As many of you know, this like during the streams is when I record and interact with you guys, which is fun. But then obviously once I'll get this edited and put up on Patreon first, and then the video will come out. I always have new videos Monday, Wednesday, Friday that will have all of this audio that I'm recording for the stories nicely edited together and badassly recorded and edited and poopy pants poop. What would you do if you got to 1 million subs? Well, I don't really know, honestly. Maybe Dark Somnium can answer that if he has any plans for his 1 million sub. I guess, like, we're going streaking probably, I suppose, or something. Finally do the long coveted wiener reveal. Here it is, folks. Here's the wiener. Take a good look. Story we're on story 5 of 7. So yeah, on that note. Dark Somebody says, yeah, actually I have a few long ones coming out next week. It's so hot in Oregon that I have to move my recording stuff down to my bedroom because it's almost like 100 degrees in my office. Oh god, that sounds terrible. Yeah, I would freaking boil alive. Like sometimes before doing these streams, I have to like pre-run the AC, and then while it's going, I got this new like very quiet fan that kind of runs on a low setting, just to sort of keep me mildly cool. Yeah, we're all going team streaking. We're gonna tie our wieners together. Rachel Russell with the 10 Aussie bucks says, I love your ramblings. Thank you, Rachel. I appreciate that. I love to ramble. And I love to ramble. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, let us do the next story. We are good to go. Yeah, trying to get the... Honestly, this fan that I have has been a lifesaver, though. I'll have to send you the one that I got, but it's just, like, normally I'd be sitting here just drenched in sweat, but this is just, like, silently sending, like, a little bit of a breeze my direction, which is, like, just enough for me to not be dying inside. Oh, yeah, and the heat affects the recording equipment as well, yeah. Something you gotta protect for sure. Maybe 2.5 years back, I met a chick at a bar. She had been stood up, and I had just knocked off for the day. I didn't go there with any idea to score. I just wanted a couple of pints to help me unwind. I'd been there around 45 minutes when the bartender slipped me a note. It was from a girl sitting at the end of the bar. She asked me to grab a table with her so we could talk. My curiosity was piqued, so I looked to my right and locked eyes with possibly the most beautiful woman I'd ever seen. I thought maybe I'd been given the note accidentally. No way a girl that hot was interested in me. To make sure, I pointed at the note and mouthed, "Was this for me?" Then I pointed to myself. To my amazement, she nodded yes, and that's where our evening began. I grabbed a quiet table in the corner and she joined me. We introduced ourselves before getting to the small talk. Her name was Amber and she was 25. Close up, she was even more beautiful. I asked her why she'd written the note. I was genuinely curious. While I'm not a walking mess, I was nowhere near her level. The possibility I was being tricked came to mind, so I asked if I was being pranked, but she said no. It wouldn't be the first time. My friends seemed to think it was funny any girl who... Oops. There's that smooth, sexy voice. Smooth and sexy. Maybe I'll just have to ramble in the reading voice. And then I played World of Warcraft for a little bit, not that long, because it was boring as fuck. My friends seemed to think it was funny any girl would like me. They put notes on my windshield at least twice, pretending to be from a secret admirer. I never fell for it. I'm far smarter than they think I am. This, however, looked to be a real encounter. If it was, I was going to play it all the way through. The getting to know each other continued another hour until she asked if I wanted to take her home. I jumped on it, and we walked the few blocks to my apartment. We had a few more drinks and started messing around. I don't kiss and tell, so I'll just say we enjoyed one another's presence for the rest of the night. When I awakened the next morning, she's already gone. I wrote it off as an amazing dream and hit the head. Oops. I wrote it off as an amazing dream and went to bed. When I came out, a pair of beer bottles caught my eye. I walked over to get a closer look. One had lipstick residue on the mouth. I still wasn't completely positive. I walked over to the bed and sniffed the pillow opposite mine. The wonderful smell threw me back to the previous evening. There was no doubt. It had really happened. I was over the moon for a long time. I hoped to see her again. I went as far as asking some employees if they knew how to find her, but none did. As time went by, however, I wrote it off as a one-night stand. I began dating a new girl. A wonderful, fun chick to be around, but Amber stayed in the forefront of my mind. This new relationship never really went anywhere, and we ended things a few months in. Being newly single, I hoped to track Amber down and maybe pick back up where we'd left off. I returned to the bar and asked around again. I got the same answer. I didn't have the money to hire a detective, and without a last name, I couldn't do a search on the internet. Providence would arrive in the form of Craigslist. I was browsing the site and came across the Missed Connections section. It looked to be just as good as any other avenue, so I made a short description of our night together and how I'd like to meet again. I posted it and went on with my life. All was quiet until about day 8. A message came from someone claiming to be Amber. I asked a few questions. They knew all the answers and even added things no one else could have known. I was overjoyed to be talking with her again and asked if we could meet for drinks. She agreed and suggested the place we first met. I suggested the place we first met. Also, this is hilarious that an actual misconnection story is made. We were just talking about that a second ago. Suck the blood from his pee-pee. Anyone who sees this, tell Let's Read I had to go, but that I love him and I can't wait to go stream. One day, my friend, we will get there. And I long for that day that we will be nude together, frolicking through the forest and the streets. My voice makes you lactate. That's nice. I do it for the children.
Full-grown pizza.
Whoa, full-grown pizza. H Heart. Huh. It didn't pop up on the thing, so maybe it's a re-up of an old subscription. So H Heart, thank you for being subscribed and being a full-grown pizza and a member of the Buttersock cult. She agreed and suggested the place we first met. It sounded perfect, almost romantic. I started to believe this may actually go somewhere. My months-long search was over. For the rest of the week, my stomach was in knots. I was counting the hours. Jesus Christ. I was counting the hours. Saturday eventually arrived, and I made my way to meet her. She was visible from outside and more beautiful than I remembered. I joined her at the table, and the night went much as it had our first evening, all but one thing. Throughout the evening, she checked her phone many times. I assumed she was just nervous and tried to ignore it. It was a few hours before she suggested that we go back to her place. I've been looking forward to this for months. On her way out, I visited the bathroom. As I walked out, I noticed she was fiddling with her phone again. However, now she was making a call. I didn't care. Besides, maybe she was calling a roommate. She was basically a stranger to me. For all I knew, she had kids. Once again, I really didn't care. She'd hung up by the time I returned anyway, and we made our way to her car. I stumbled my way down the street until she pointed at this plain four-door sedan, and I shuffled up to the passenger door. She unlocked it, and I fell into the seat. We closed our doors, but instead of starting the car, she just sat there. Oh, whoops. Counting the udders. It was a cow, lactating cow. Jessica, what's up? Sorry, I have to burp, but I can't get it out. Somebody has to pat my back like a fucking baby. Making myself lactate. Jeez. Sorry. We closed our doors, but instead of starting the car, she just sat there and smiled at me. Oh, she wants to make out. The idea perked me up. When I leaned over to kiss her, a strange male voice told me to stop. What? I was so drunk I had a difficult time assessing the situation. I turned my head to the back seat and saw a large, masked man pointing a gun at me. Don't make me shoot you, cowboy. Instantly, I sobered up. I could tell he meant every word. I looked over to Amber. Our eyes met, and I knew I'd been tricked. They were cold, lacking any empathy. I was devastated. I'd lost my desire to live in that moment. Moving much faster than I should have, I yanked my wallet from my pocket and threw it into the back seat. I think my nonchalance caught the man off guard. He said nothing. He was not... Sorry. A member of the Pineapple is Good on Pizza Club. Honestly, worst case scenario, I would eat pineapple on pizza. I'm not going to be discriminating against pizza. You love the collab with Slap Tam. Can you do an impression of Slap Tam? Here we have a ghost that seems to be spooky. No, that was honestly, I had a great time. I'm really happy that I got to be on Slap Tam's channel because, I mean, he's what is he, almost 2 million subscribers. That's huge. It's and he approached me in the middle of a stream, which is fucking really badass. And just, I feel like it was a really fun week of just collaborations because I got to be on his channel. B Buster was on the channel as well, so 2 people from Down Under, which was great. We've created an alliance with the Australian mates, the Australian Joeys. The skull in the background is actually Joel's skull, my real skull, synthesized. But yeah, it was a fun video. I really like those ghost videos and trying to determine what is or is not real. And so I do hope that in the future I get to be on another episode. Scary stripper stories. Hey, maybe. You guys I think there was a stripper in the chat before that would talk about going on stage, listening to me before going on stage, and I was like, well, you should just play my videos as your entrance song. think that would go over pretty well with some truckers. Also, anybody here ever been to a strip club? I feel like it's kind of depressing. I mean, it's a fun atmosphere, I think, if you go with like a co-ed group of friends, you know what I mean? But it's not really a place I could see myself like chilling like that often, you know? Definitely not the greatest of, most funnest of hangouts. Creepy peepees stories. Hello from Boston. Your voice is apparently like catnip for the ladies. Oh, yes. Get them all stirred up. Meow. Meowch. Officer Nasty. That's funny. I don't know why that's funny to me, but... Yeah, the strip clubs where you're from are gross. Yeah, it's like... yeah, I don't even know. It's just tough, you know what I mean? Like, it's certainly not as glamorized as... you know, them their rap videos make it out to be. Yeah, when I'm, honestly, I was mainly disappointed in their twerking abilities. I felt as if though I was kind of leagues beyond them in shaking that booty. Hey Jake, what's up, bro? I'm pretty much a stripper up here. I do actually have some cop stories, some law enforcement stories on the channel if you want to check those out. Thought the girls would be hotter. Yeah, it's funny because like the girls always end up getting like the normal girls to come up on stage, you know what I mean, and take their, or at least like a bra or something like that, get them all lubed up on free Bud Light or some shit. And so that's one of the positives. Maybe you get to see a close friend naked, well not really, but just scantily clad, doing it for the vine. But other than that, it's not really a place I could see. Funnily enough, though, the way that I actually became familiar with the microphone that I use, back in college, I was helping some people who did, who were in the film major here at the local university, and friends of mine were majoring in film and filmmaking or whatever, and they needed a sound guy, so I got to be their sound guy for the documentary, and the documentary was actually about like strippers and stuff like that. So we actually were on like the road with a family member of theirs who was a stripper, and it's an interesting, you know, it was almost like a full-on like stripper pageant type scenario. And Katie Toots is continuing to be a full-grown pizza and a member of the Buttersock cult. I can't tell if these are new members or what, because it doesn't tell me. But either way, thank you. But yeah, that was a fun experience, you know. Yes, quote, documentary. It was actually a documentary, though. It's just like basically chronicling the experiences of a person who, you know, basically does that sort of shit like professionally. And they were very talented individuals because a lot of the stuff they did was like, you know, borderline like carnival quality. Carnival quality. I don't know how to explain it. It was like Senpai Storm has become a full-grown pizza. Thank you, Senpai Storm. I don't know why it's not showing up. I'm gonna test a widget real quick just to...
Hey, listen.
And Maya B with the 5 says, I'm just dropping by to say hello today. Hope you and Pradeep are well and much love. Thank you, Maya. Good to see you. Much love to you as well. I'm just going to test a membership. Oh, wait. Well, testing it. See, it says let's rejoin. I guess testing it doesn't actually bring it up on the side screen, because when there's a new person, it actually brings it up in the chat. But if you guys are new members, and this is not just a re-upping of like the last time you became members or something through like... Because on Twitch, it tells whenever people have like resubbed, you know? But like on here, it just says that they sort of became members, and it's confusing, so I don't even know. Anyways, yeah, why to go to a club and risk catching something when you can go on OnlyFans from home? I know, it's so easy, guys. Yeah, I feel like strippers have really had the brunt end of a stick. I became a full-grown pizza. Full-grown? Oh my god, fry! Saying naughty words. Yeah, acrobats. That's a good way to describe them. What has to poop? Knife. Nice. He said nothing, even as I stepped from the car and slammed the door. I didn't know what to do, so I just stood mute, staring at the pavement. It remained quiet for around 30 seconds until I heard the car start and speed away. It wasn't long before I had a massive adrenaline dump. The seriousness of what had occurred mere moments prior hit me like a truck. I hunched over and actually began vomiting. Massive amounts of booze and nachos poured from my guts. I eventually ran dry and returned to my feet. I wiped my mouth and made my way home. I wanted nothing but to sleep and didn't even bother to undress before falling into bed. Most of the day was gone when I woke up. I chugged a bottle of Gatorade, my hangover cure. The events of the previous night became clearer by the second. I felt so stupid. All the time I'd wasted looking for her. Then I got angry and my desire for revenge kicked in. A quick shower and a 2-mile walk later, I found myself filing report. In Chicago, stick-ups generally don't get much attention. When the detective handed me some mugshots, I got the idea I'd stumbled into something a tad more serious. I was shocked to see the faces of Amber and her accomplice staring back at me. I pointed them out, and the detective gave me the lowdown. The lowdown. The lowdown. When the detective gave me the lowdown. I'm stuck in thin air, step bro. Just like floating. I'm stuck, step bro, help. I saw a funny, where I posted a funny meme on the meme page at Horny Computer on Instagram. Go follow it. Where it was like a frog stuck inside of a VCR. And it's like, what are you doing, step frog? It's pretty funny. I think I got that one from Memestown on Discord. Somebody posted that on Discord. So thank you for compiling lots of sweet ass stuff on Discord. How do you become a member? So I think kind of near the area where, like, I think it's at the bottom of the chat, or at least at the top of the page, is a button that says join. And basically when you click that, you can make a decision to become a member. I think it's like $5 a month or something. And yes, that would be neato petito. Scary drug stories. Like you're on drugs or something. Because I do have some of those scary trip, like bad trip stories. You should go check those out. When the detective handed me some mugshots, I got the idea I'd stumbled into something a tad more serious. I was shocked to see the faces of Amber and her accomplice staring back at me. I pointed them out, and the detective gave me the lowdown. Only at that moment did I realize just how lucky I'd been. According to him, I had fallen prey to a scam. Amber's real name was Shannon, and she'd been a career con artist. The pair had been targeting single men for the last 6 months or more. I was thought to be their 5th victim, and the previous 3 had actually been killed. And I felt a shudder through my body. The detective was unsure why I'd been allowed to live. That made 2 of us. Join, yeah, concludes pizza, full-grown pizza. The detective was unsure why I'd been allowed to live, and that made 2 of us. Perhaps our history made me too much of a risk. Maybe she'd been presumed into doing it by her... presumed, Jesus Christ. Perhaps our history made me too much of a risk. Maybe she'd been pressured into doing it by her partner. I'll probably never know. It was hoped I had some new information to give him, but I ended up being no help. We spoke a little longer before he sent me home. Now, I was even more confused. I was happy to be alive. On the other hand, however, I wondered why I'd been... Ugh. Wait, how can I join? Oh, sorry, yes. There should be a button. I think... Fuck, how do you... Let's see. If you just go to my YouTube channel, like sort of like the main channel or whatever, you know, like where it just shows, and kind of at the top where it says my name, like Let's Read, and shows the subscribers. Also, we're over 650 652K subscribers. I didn't even know we hit 650, so yay. Thanks for subscribing. Kind of near the top right, it will say there's like a kind of a transparent white button that has like blue letters and it says join. And I think you can also do that in the chat, like during the video. I'm not sure about on mobile where that is, but it should be in there. If someone sees it, definitely let me know. I feel bad like not actually knowing the specifics, but I'm a noob. Charles, what's up? Okay, I'll probably never know. I'll probably never know. It was hoped that I had new information to give him, but I ended up being no help. We spoke a little longer before he sent me home, and now I was even more confused. I was happy to be alive. On the other hand, however, I wondered why I'd been spared. I have one particularly funny theory that they didn't consider $23 and a maxed out card worth killing over, but the truth is, it's not really a joking matter. Things wouldn't get any clearer when Amber's accomplice was arrested. He brought in. He was tickled to death. What if that was your death penalty, to be like tickled to death? I wonder if that's possible. Just like constantly pressing into your kidneys until they burst. Guess it's not really tickling, huh? He'd be brought in on unrelated charges, only to lawyer up the second he was asked any questions. He'll stay mum more than likely, even when presented with the possibility of execution. The detective on my case thinks Amber probably won't be caught for a long time, and even if she is, she'll go the way of silence too. If and when she is caught, I hope I can get a few minutes alone with her, not because I wish her any harm. I've come to terms with her role in the crime. Instead, rather, I'd like to ask why I was spared when others weren't. I'd like to think it's because we'd made some type of connection on an emotional level. Then again, that's probably just my romantic side thinking out loud. In truth, it probably just wasn't my time. Hey, Kimchi has become a member of the Buttersock Cult and a full-grown pizza. Thank you, Kimchi. Everybody welcome Kimchi, thank you. And Chris10 with a 5 says, you calm my cat with the zoomies down. Mucho thanks. Always appreciate the bedtime stories. That's amazing. Be chill, kitty. Psst, 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 psst. It's so weird how, like, Pradeep doesn't respond to anything until you make the psst, 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 psst noise, and it's just like me. He's like, what? What the fuck? Is it food time? It shows on mobile, just leave the live chat, and right below where you click the like button, you can find the join button. Okay, cool. That's good to know. I feel like YouTube, yeah, just there's a lot of little things that YouTube has to work out for the live stream, like, sort of things. It's not terrible. It's a great start to what it is, but compared to Twitch, there's just a lot of random shit that's kind of needlessly confusing. Dude simping for a con woman. I know, that was a little strange. Why'd you spare me, baby? How come you didn't just blow my head off? Can I do scary school shooting story? Probably not. I mean, I don't even know where those stories would come from. I know there's been a few where people have said they've survived certain or school lockdown stories, or like that one where it's like I survived a shooting in a theater and kind of stuff like that. But I don't think I would ever. I think that would just like put a target on your channel if you did something as specific as that, you know. And obviously, I would hope that that doesn't happen. Don't have anything below your like button besides his name. Yeah, I don't know. It's all good either way. We'll figure it out. And you can actually join at a later time. Like, it doesn't have to be during a stream too, if that makes it easier. But obviously, it would make sense for me to want to see it. You know what I mean? So it's all good. Am I gonna do more cryptid stories? You haven't done those in a while. Yeah. Once again, it's tough. Like, the paranormal stuff, even though it was with Slapped Ham, you know, that just like basically what YouTube is telling me whenever it gives me like data analysis is that like I get the normal amount of views I would from like you guys, you know, the subscribers who are into pretty much whatever I put out, or you know, well, you guys have kind of given me some feedback that you prefer the stalker type true scary stories more than like the paranormal true scary stories, and like um, even though a lot of people do enjoy the stories, what ends up happening is like not a lot of people are interested in it in like the suggested. So if you've ever watched um, like a YouTube video and at the end it gives you suggestions for random channels, you're like, what's this about? You know, like it doesn't seem like as many people are like interested to click on like the paranormal stuff. So that's kind of why I don't do them too often, because it seems like the channel does better with just the true scary stuff. But we shall see. I definitely need to look for some cryptid stuff here down the line. Derek, thank you. Okay, so this is story number 6. Number 6. Oh, now Pradeep wants in. 1 second. Let me let that boy in here. In this room. He's getting stat. Whoa, we're almost at 777 folks. Which, thank you guys again for being here. Thanks for clicking like and sharing this out and just being an amazing chat and community. I always appreciate it. I think this community is like way more positive and just cool than, like, I watch a lot of like Overwatch streamers because that's like my heroin-esque bad relationship addiction, and something about watching streamers do it is enjoyable to me or whatever. But I don't know why, like, Twitch chat is weird. It's just like, I feel like there's not really a connection, you know, that like the streamers make with the Twitch chat. Like, you know, they'll get donations and then they'll like respond to stuff and they will read chat, but for the most time it might just be because chat's like younger and maybe you guys are like of the more mature age, you know, like actually adults and stuff. But I look at their chat and it's just like, I don't know, it's like weaponized cancer. Like it's like not even fun to like participate in, and you can't even like really talk to anybody. Like I see some of you guys like actually have conversations in here, which is neat. And if you enjoy this community, you can, you know, transfer that over to Discord, where, you know, you can meet these cool internet people in a more intimate fashion. But yeah, it's like, Poo Poo, you're the best Moira in the world. Oh yeah, you will have to prove it one time. All right, let us. You were banned from Ram Ranch? Wait, Fry, I don't believe that. Like the text part or the audio part? Because I always see you like. I don't believe that. I don't know why you would be. Sierra Hayden just joined my Patreon. Thank you. Yeah. I've said well, basically right now I can definitely guarantee. I can definitely guarantee that I will be uploading early access audio on there for sure. I've been talking for a while about, you know, adding a $5 tier and then making that accessible to people who become members on here, and then also people that are on the $5 tier or more on Patreon, so they can get an extra creepypasta a month. But yeah, you know, it's like sometimes shit just gets away from you and you never like get the ball rolling. But I definitely, if anybody wants to like, please pressure me to do that, that would be amazing, because I need to. I need to. Yeah, I don't know. Overwatch sucks. Like, I've talked about it a million times, but like, what is there? There's like 16, maybe 17 different DPS to pick from, which are the damage characters. And So there's a lot of creativity that you can have when playing damage. A lot of different options. There's a lot of different hard counters. Sometimes people just pick them just to have fun, and it all makes sense. But then when it comes to tanks, there's no room for creativity. Like sometimes you can only, because it's 2 tanks, 2 DPS, 2 healers, and a lot of the times it's like the tanks all fill a specific role. So they're just like, and sometimes like there's certain metas, like things that fit certain levels. So you're pretty much relegated to only playing like Orisa on defense, or you need a shield, and like, but then you'll notice like everybody always picks like Roadhog or Ball, which is Hammond, the guy who's like, and those are the 2 fun tanks, you know what I mean? Those are the 2 fun ones, but like a lot of the time they're not really viable as tanks because they're usually off doing their own bullshit, which then leaves healers and DPS like vulnerable because there's no shield. And I don't know, the game just becomes really brain dead because, to do well as Reinhardt, you can have really big impact and stuff. Oh my god, Pradeep's rolling around in my shoe. You can have like really big impact as those characters, but a lot of the times it's like you pretty much are the backbone of the team, and if you deviate from that, there's just a lot of people that are super toxic, you know what I mean? And it's just annoying because like I want to imagine in my mind that it is that your probability of winning and choosing what you want to choose is going to enable you to win, but it's not. It literally is not, never the case. And if you watch any sort of like tank players, they always play the ones that are specific to that level too, which makes it even worse. It's not like there's certain tanks that just always work. It's like specific to the levels too. So in my opinion, I just think from the very get-go, like Overwatch has not been balanced. And because it's not like a free-to-play game per se, and because I don't think they've had a lot of like influx of new players, their motivation to produce like, I'm ranting right now, Carlos, I'm sorry. It's always Overwatch. Fucking hate that shit, but I play it nonstop. It's just like since it's not free to play and they can't like nickel and dime people with like all of the cosmetics and shit, which I think they could have gotten away with, there's just not enough like new content coming into the game. Whereas you play something like Heroes of the Storm, which is now dead, they have like a ton of different characters to pick from or whatever. And I just feel like Overwatch would have actually really, really benefited from like pretty much at this point like 5 new tanks, 5 new healers, just influx them into the game. Sure, it's going to be a balancing nightmare, but just fucking do it just to keep people's attention, because I don't know, man. I like with all those choices at DPS, like it just means that they fulfill one role, and that's killing things, while as the tanks fulfill very specific roles, and it's almost like getting rid of one particular tank is like removing your cornerstone, which in my opinion is like, if you're removing a cornerstone and you're relegating your players to only picking one particular person, there's no creativity in that, and there's not a lot of fun to be had. So maybe Overwatch 2 will make things better, but I really fucking doubt it. Rebel Ghost Girl with a 5 says, I recently got out of quarantine due to having upper respiratory infection. Just to be safe and listening to you as I start feeling better. Thank you. You're welcome. I'm glad you're feeling better. Make sure you get all that good stuff to help your immune system, fight things, vitamin C, vitamin D3, iodine, all that bullshit. You know the deal. You can look it up, but I hope you're doing okay. Okay. You feel like Rainbow Six Siege handled it the right way? Yeah, I never really gave that game a proper play. Proper play. All right. Enough of my bullshit.
Hey,
I
listen.
haven't played The Last of Us. My roommate was playing it, but I never really was like Nurse Joel. Hello, Hannah. I never really got very into it. I played a little bit of the first one. I thought it was cool. It's a good experience, but I just got kind of bored. Sierra Hatton with a 5 says, you're more iconic than Mr. Nightmare, and I'll fight for your title. Thank you. Yeah, Mr. Nightmare, like, I mean, he's doing fine, and in his defense, he's killing it, you know what I mean? His views are always good, and he was one of the first ones to do this shit, so he's just holding it down, But in many ways, I kind of wish that he would think how he's going to expand himself in the future, like to keep his channel relevant, because everybody always kind of has to do that, And I feel like he needs to start thinking about, like, I don't know, maybe expanding the content a little bit, like maybe being more interactive with, like, if he had a live stream, can you imagine, like, how many people would show up to that? But I don't know. I think he also really just enjoys his privacy. He's just one of those people that's just like, all right, I got YouTube, and then my private life, fuck off. Like, I don't want you to know anything about me, which is understandable, especially in this time and day, you know what I mean? Original Asherella with the 3 says, don't spend it all on one step frog. I will find one. Yeah, we're almost at 800 viewies. Guys, thanks again for being here. We're going to make our way into story 6. I want to preface this by saying, despite changing names and the use of a throwaway, everything else I write here is 100% true. Although I myself am not the subject of the story, I'm choosing to stay anonymous because of the stigma related to the content found within. A stigma I happen to agree with, by the way. Now, with that out of the way, here are the facts. I have a friend I've known since grade school. Because of difficulties he has with advanced math, he wasn't allowed to graduate. A foolish state law, in my opinion. Therefore, he left school our senior year. Lacking a high school diploma frustrated his ability to acquire any good work. Despite his clearly high level of intelligence and experience with computers, he had to settle with a job at the local transfer station or dump for the less savvy. It's the place the trash trucks drop off their loads and trailers take the garbage to the landfill from there. I know more about trash than I care to know, clearly. No one has to tell you about the large amount of waste taking place in our culture, and because of this waste, my friend, Robert, we'll call him, saw an opportunity to make extra money. He noticed a lot of old computers were being thrown away. Since he was well versed in the field, he got an idea. He began bringing discarded laptops and towers home to repair. Not all, in fact, most of them were junk, but a few proved to be unexpected gems. At first, he only sold on eBay, but because of the rising cost of shipping, he moved most over... Oops. Yeah, I figured you guys would laugh at the dropping off their loads. They dropped off a big load. At first, he only sold on eBay, but because of the rising cost of shipping, he moved most over to Craigslist. In no time, he was well known in the area as a top-notch computer builder. I'd wager 50% of the laptops in the county came from him. As a matter of fact, I'm writing this on a computer he actually gave me. And because of this reputation, he was making more than enough to quit the job at the dump. They would have cut him off from his supply, or at least added an extra cost he didn't need. And so he stayed on. My reason for writing brings us to April this year. Robert had come across a pair of Lovecrafts. A pair of HP Lovecrafts. Shit, that's funny. My voice makes you want to drop a huge load. One load coming right up. Robert had come across a pair of HP laptops, one of them almost new. He chose to keep the older model for daily use. He just recently sold his after being offered a price too good to refuse. It was a super-duper decked-out laptop someone had used for video production. As usual, it was found at the transfer station, like all the others. The newer of the pair was only 2 years old and didn't appear to have any problems. This would make selling it that much easier. His usual process was to go through a computer and remove anything not on it at the time of sale. He was performing a primary search of the new HP and came across a password-protected file. This piqued his curiosity. Yes, sometimes computers had a password required to log on, but he'd never seen a single file protected, not on any he'd found. Many of us may use a password on our banking or tax files. This was what Robert assumed he discovered. It had to come off regardless, so he did his thing and cracked it. And what he found sickened him. Since I'm aware some reading this may be survivors of this type of assault, I'll try to be as brief as possible. 5 gigabytes of CP is what it was. Oops. Yikes. Hey, Heather Ray with the 10 says, I want to thank you for your channel. I've been going through a lot and your channel has kept me going. Something I can look forward to. I'll be sending my stories to you soon. Thank you, Heather. Thank you. I hope you're doing well. And Jessica Simmons with the 2 says, my last $2 because I heart you. Now twerk for me. I hope that wasn't your last $2. I like IRL, because please, yeah. Please focus on thine self before me. Thank you for the 2. 5 gigabytes of CP is what it was. Not all of it was, I don't know how to say these words. Okay. Jeez. Not all of it was... not all of... Fuck, sorry. Not all of it was intimate in nature either. He said there looked to be some beatings, even some snuff. And this is where I come into the story. Robert called me, terrified and crying. He described what he found and promised he only watched enough to verify what it was. I believed him, naturally. He's the last guy I'd think to look at that garbage. But anyway, he continued sobbing, promising he didn't download it. I did the best I could to calm him, but he was obviously terrified. When he eventually chilled a little, we talked about his options. We agreed the police needed to see it. The problem was how to give it to them. Just having that stuff is illegal, whether it's yours or not, so I came up with the safest idea I could. Robert considered it a moment and agreed. Oops, that sounded weird. Robert considered it a moment and agreed. After first wiping his prints from the laptop, he wrapped it in Christmas paper and taped a note explaining the situation at the top, minus his name, of course. He drove out to our mall and walked into the police station located inside. To avoid being identified, he wore a plain black hoodie and mask. We hoped he'd fit in because of the whole oh, fuck. That's not what I want to say. We hoped he'd fit in because of the whole quarantine situation. And when no one was looking, he set the computer on the counter and walked away. Unfortunately, a cop caught him on his way out. Once they saw the note and the contents of the laptops, his fears came true. Countless hours of denials did no good, and news of his arrest spread quickly around town. A bail hearing was held, but the amount of $50,000 might as well have been $1 million. This means he's stuck in jail for the foreseeable future. In a larger town, I imagine his life would be in danger, but the few times we've spoken, he's claimed to have had no problems. I can only hope it stays that way until we can clear his name and get him out. The guilt I carry for suggesting the stupid plan is part of why I'm telling the story. I'm also livid because of the lies we are raised to believe. Honesty is the best policy. This may be the biggest lie ever sold to man. Tell me why a decent, hard-working man is in jail for doing the right thing. He discovers proof of a horrible crime taking place and tries to leave it with the authorities. What does he get for this? You may say, but he tried to do it in a deceitful way. You are correct, but what course of action did he have? Just having that evil in your possession is a crime no matter what. What happens when he tells the truth? No one believes him, that's what. Why would anyone do what he did if they were guilty? Now my purpose may be becoming clear. It is a lesson, a horrible example of why honesty is not always the best policy. I want the next person who finds himself in the same spot to know he benefits in no way by doing the right thing. The damage was already done to the victims when it was made. Nothing you can do can alter that. Just delete it and go on with your life. You're not a bad person, only thinking pragmatically. If only Robert had known that then, he would be free today. Jessica says, what exactly is Discord? Yeah, so Discord's kind of like, it's an app where there's different communities within it, and that you can join and get invited to. And basically, what you can do on there is just participate in different like little channels of text and then also voice chat channels. They recently added the ability to like stream video games on there with your friends, like live stream directly to them, or your screen and kind of share screens and stuff. You can also, I think some people do video chat on ours from time to time if they are feeling extra pretty that day, I guess, or whatever. Um, but yeah, it's just a fun time, just a little community. There's different little topics in our community, like we have art stuff, memes. People, got a place for politics, so people can get that out of their system, keep it, quarantined there. And just other random general chat. A lot of people just want to meet people and make friends, and just a fun little thing. That's not to say it doesn't come with its own like set of like drama. Obviously, when you get lots of people in one area, they're going to be dramatic about shit. But usually our Discord's pretty positive, I'd say. I mean, for those who have been in it, I think they've had a pretty good time. We got everything. Oh yeah, shit, I missed a dono. Sorry about that. Lils, hey Lils, with the 10 says, when you started reading the Chicago story, my customers started creeping me out. I live in Chicago. I think you jinxed me. Oh my god. We manifested a creeper directly in front of you. Thank you, Lils, for the 10. I hope you're having a good shifty shift. Yeah, other YouTubers, will pop in too, which is cool. People who, like, I think it's cool. Basically, I don't know if many of those people, like, Dark Somnium, and I've seen Swamp Dweller here. I don't think they're part of my Discord, but they definitely could be. I don't really venture out to too many other, like, different Discords, though. I know a lot of people are, like, in a ton of them, but I guess I just haven't really gotten into it completely. All right. Let us go on to the final story of the night. With 800 folks in here, thanks for being here. Click that like button, share it out if you would be so kind, and thank you for being awesome. Anybody who's a father out there knows we'll bend over backwards for our kids, especially for our daughters. Mine is at that age where she's learning to ride a bike. She's off of training wheels, and because of the rate at which she's growing, she was ready for a better bicycle. The two of us sat down and browsed the internet for ideas. As you can imagine, she liked the more expensive models. I didn't have the heart to tell her that we didn't have the money for a new one, so I waited till I was alone and searched for used ones. That's how I came across Craigslist. There was a few available in the area, but they were incredibly beat up. If I was going to pass it off as new, I needed a bike in good shape. I continued to look and eventually found a like-new bike for a good price. Almost too good. My suspicions were raised, but I figured I'd check it out anyway. If it was in worse shape than the photos let on, I'd walk away. My wife and I went to the seller's house to see it. To my surprise, it was just as nice, almost brand new. I smelled a rat and questioned the seller. He claimed he had purchased it for his daughter, but she only rode it a handful of times. The bike showed very little use, so I took him at his word. I paid the man, and we took it home. My daughter's birthday was coming up, and we decided to give it to her then. I hid it away in our shed until the time came. The morning of her party, I let her outside. I told her to cover her eyes, and when I gave the okay, I unveiled the bike. She was naturally ecstatic. I got a big hug and thank you. She hopped on and rode it until her party that afternoon. I figured my job had been done, and the bike would last her a few years at least. The next few weeks were life as normal. My daughter rode with her friends after school and weekends. Other than adjusting the seat, I had a little work to do on it. Oops. Starting OnlyFans. Yeah, I don't even know. What would I do on OnlyFans? Would it be successful? I don't even, On my Instagram, I gotta put like a link tree or something like that. I feel like... Do you ever see people with like link tree? I feel like those seem pretty helpful. It was Sunday afternoon. Wait, fuck. Sorry. Other than adjusting the seat, I had little work to do on it. I should have expected something would go wrong. It was a Sunday afternoon. My daughter, who we'll call Alex, was riding in the street in front of the house with her cousin. All of a sudden, I heard some screaming and crying outside. I ran out to see what was wrong, and Alex is sitting in the street, holding her leg. As I got closer, I saw blood pouring out of it. I'll admit, I got a bit nervous. I reached her and asked her what happened. Now that I was there, I could see just how bad the injury was. Halfway down on the inside of her left leg, the skin was split to the bone. I could see the muscle, in fact. Alex was bawling her head off, and I tried to calm her down. Once again, I asked her what happened. Lucky for me, her cousin wasn't fazed. He pointed behind me and said, "A pedal broke off and cut her." I turned around, and there was a pedal on the ground. I picked it up and noticed the part connecting the pedal to the crank arm is sheared off, leaving behind sharp little points. The other half was still in the crank and had left the same sharp pieces. I started getting angry when I realized the post steel looked like some cheap pot metal instead. I'm not sure if I'm describing this well, but imagine a stick broken in half. The two pieces you have left have sharp points located at the break. Essentially, you are left with two sharp sticks. Well, I sent the cousin inside to tell my wife about what happened, while I whisked Alex off to the ER. I wasn't sure how to apply first aid, so I left it alone. Once we reached the hospital, I let them treat the wound. Alex eventually got some painkillers and she calmed down. She got the leg cleaned up and sewn up, and we made arrangements with a cosmetic surgeon to have it prettied up. This entire time, I'm quietly seething over the pedal's shoddy quality. We made it home that night, and I scoured the internet for information about the bike. It turned out that this is a common problem with this particular bike. So common, in fact, they had a recall to replace the pedals. Learning this did my burning fury no good. The recall had been made over 2 years prior to me buying the bike. As I calmed down, though, I realized I was guilty for not checking up on it more thoroughly. I'll own that. That may have contributed to my anger. I've already apologized to Alex and my wife for failing as a father. While I was in the process of my apology tour, a nugget found its way into my head. I wonder if the seller was aware of this problem and withheld it from me. It ate away at me until I was driven to call and ask. I played my cards close to my vest early on. My question was simply stated, and I left out Alex's injury. He tried to say it had slipped his mind. Then he went on to say all I needed to do was contact the company to get a free pair of pedals. It shouldn't be much trouble. I imagine it's a simple process. This is when I lost my cool and pounced. "Oh yeah? Then why didn't you do it before selling it? My daughter has a giant gash in her leg because you were too lazy to send it off for free pedals. Either that, or you sold it knowing full well what could have happened. Which is it?" I blindsided him. He was just mumbled, He just mumbled, never able to come up with an appropriate response. I was so mad by this time I was positive he'd sold the bike knowing of the dangers associated in the existence of the recall. He'd done as much as He's done as much. How many stitches? I don't know. Probably a lot. Unless it was just like a short but deep gash. Is Hawk hydrating himself? That's a good question. Hawk, what's the deal, bro? How many people are here are full-on blanky mode right now? Full-on blanky mode. Alex got... Okay. I initially... I had blind... Oh, he just mumbled. Okay, sorry, I got lost there for a second. I've been lost. I need an adult. In line with this story, never buy a car seat from Craigslist, as so many of them get recalled, and on top of that, if they get in an accident, you need to replace them, so it's dangerous if you don't know. Yeah, definitely get those new, or find a way for someone that supplies them that are reliable. He just mumbled, never able to come up with an appropriate response. I was so mad by this time I was positive he'd sold the bike knowing of the dangers associated and the existence of the recall. He'd done as much as admitted to it, and that's the moment I decided I was going to sue him. "Well, I'll see you in court, a-hole." Except I called him the whole word, obviously. I hung up before he could respond. It was the best I'd felt in weeks. Although I should have consulted with our lawyer before saying it, after we had, he was sure we had a case. I initially wanted to go for the big bucks. The guy was a doctor, after all. However, after I cooled off, all I really wanted was Alex's medical bills paid and an apology. Our lawyer and his would exchange some phone calls back and forth until they agreed to settle. Alex got her bills taken care of, and he promised to meet face to face for an apology. Later that week, he met us at a lunch and apologized to me. He surprised me and even apologized to Alex. She accepted his... Oops, shit, I'm sorry. I've been here for 2 hours. Yeah, we're on 2 hours, 20 minutes right now, but we're kind of coming to an end here. Okay. She accepted it gracefully, and I thanked him for showing up. I'd become so wrapped up in my own little search for revenge, I'd forgotten one important thing. My wonderful daughter no longer had a bicycle. There was no way I was going to let her ride that death trap again, so I took a hunk of our tax return and bought her a brand new one. It's what I should have done in the first place. I spent a whole week of nights after work researching the pros and cons of several bikes until I chose the best one. It was more than I wanted to spend, but after all, if we don't think of our children's safety ahead of money, we don't deserve their love, now do we? Now do we? Huh? Well, my friends, mi friendos, we have arrived at the end of the stories, the stream stories. But I'm still in need of your assistance. I can't fucking move this window around. Do you ever oh god. Do you ever move a window and it accidentally grabs the edge of a window screen and it fucking just expands it to the entirety and just... Sometimes I hate technology. That's all I have to say. It makes me more mad than Overwatch. Okay, guys, think of something funny to say. Think of a funny, jokey joke. No, not the end. The end is only a beginning to a new thing. Ancient Chinese proverb. Hey friends, thanks for listening. Click that notification bell to be alerted of all future narrations. If you got a story, be sure to submit them to my subreddit, r/Let's Read Official, and give and receive feedback from the community, and maybe even hear your story featured on the next video. And join my Discord to interact with me and other listeners directly, and if you want to support me even more, grab early access to all future narrations for just $1 a month on Patreon, and maybe even pick up some Let's Read merch on Spreadshirt. And check out the Let's Read podcast, where you can hear all these stories in long compilation form and save huge on data, located anywhere you listen to podcasts. Links in the bio. Thanks so much, friends. Alright, what are we saying here? And remember to always tell jokey jokes. Oh woo, oh whoa. Remember, what are you doing, Step Frog? That would be funny. Get out of that VCR, Step Frog. Yeah, we got another one soon. Okay, yeah, I guess we'll have to go with Step Frog. Whatever you're going through, it's your fucking fault. Thanks so much, friends. And remember, what are you doing, Step Frog? Blanky mode. Hopefully I have transcended all of you to full-on blanky mode. But guys, thank you again for another stream. As you know, my stream schedule is Sunday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, the nights before video uploads, which video uploads are Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, Eastern Standard Time, on the East Coast of the USA. You can adjust accordingly. Press that twerky twerk button. Oh yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and edit this. Maybe I'll eat. I don't know. Maybe I'll be hanging out in Discord if you guys want to come chill. Are there any mods here right now that could link the Discord? Because I guess I could do it. I gotta make Fry a Discord mod. Or, Fry, do you want to be a mod for the chat? Because you're always here. Literally the entire time. Add moderator. Nice. Fry, you're a mod now, my dude. You have ascended through the ranks. And, if you want to put a link to the Discord, that would be badass. But yeah, guys, thank you again for always being here. And oh yeah, Hannah, you'd be a mod too. We're just throwing out mods left and right here. But yes, thank you guys. Again, I keep saying that. I just, maybe I just really want to thank people. Yeah, join the Discord. Get early access on Patreon if you want. It's $1 a month. Basically, you just get like the audio, the clean audio, no background noise, no music or anything like that. No transition sounds, which is sad, Welcome to heaven, Hannah. 7 minutes in heaven. In 7 minutes, I'll remove your mod ship. Just kidding. But yes. Yeah. So join Discord, whatever you want. Follow me on Instagram at letsread.official, on Twitter at letsreadcreepy. Follow my meme page at hornycomputer. Probably gonna update that here with some more dank ass memes. And yes, you know the spiel. I'll always be here. And thank you guys for keeping me alive, eating well. I'm gonna go eat a bag of dates. Did anybody eat dates? The pitted dates? Fucking so good. I know I was doing keto, and I still am, but I still got this bag of dates that I took for like a little bit of a cheat day, and goddamn, they taste amazing. So probably like the worst thing to eat on keto. It's just like pure sugar, but also very good fiber for some nice shitters. All right. Goodbye, guys. I love you. Thank you for... Oh, yeah, is Jensen streaming? I didn't see him in chat. He usually pops up near the end to, like, say, but if he does, be sure to go subscribe to him so that you know. Need to learn how to send links. Yeah, I'll did anybody post one? Oh, Fry didn't. Hannah doesn't know how. That's actually hilarious. All right, let me just open up Discord real quick, and I can... Because I think some of my... I wonder... Yeah, you should be able to copy a link if you're on Discord anyways. Because I wasn't sure if you had to be a mod on there too to do it. But, so basically what I'm going to do is invite people. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to open up the chat. Alright, I'm going to spam this a little bit in here so you guys can click on it. But if you already have Discord, it should take you right to where you want to go. Or it might have you download Discord on your browser or something, because you can use it on your browser and on the application on your laptop or your phone. It's very easy to use once you figure it out. But obviously, ask anybody in general chat or whatever for questions, and they will be kind enough to guide you. But yes, Jace, thank you so much, and I will see all of you oh so soon. I'll return for another one. All right. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.